Hi friends, thanks for joining me for another tutorial in Melinda's Rubber Room. I'm Melinda Pierce and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm here today to show you how to make this fun fold card. This is a lattice type card. I did put my card base on backwards, so another alternative if you want to do something a little different, but I'll show you how to put it together correctly in this video. All right, so let's get right to it. Today I'm using the beautiful All About Autumn 6x6 Designer Series paper. This has beautiful autumn prints on one side, and on the other side it has these beautiful gold and copper designs to it, so it makes it very shiny. Okay, so this is currently on back order. It will be coming back later in September, I believe. Okay, so we are going to start with a base cardstock that measures 4 1/4 by 7 3/4, and it's scored at 5 1/2. So I'm using Pretty Peacock today. On this one here, you can see I used the basic white cardstock. Okay, so I'm going to start by just temporarily putting a piece of white cardstock down on my base, just so that you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. And I have 5 pieces, 5 strips that measure 4 1/4 inches by 1/2 inch. I've got those all cut, and then I have 2 pieces that measure 3/8 inches by 4 1/4. So those thinner pieces, the 3/8 by 4 1/4, those are going to be the pieces that are going vertically on my card. So all I'm going to do is slide that underneath this flap. And I'm going to line them up so that they match down here on the bottom. Just like so. And then I'm going to take my adhesive and glue those to that top flap on the inside of the top flap. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right down here on the strips. And again, I do like to use the glue on this project. It gives me a little bit more wiggle room when I'm placing my strips down. Okay, I'm just gonna hold those in place, close my flap down. I'm just adjusting my strips so that they're matching down at the bottom. Just like so. Make sure that they're going up and down straight as well. Okay, and then I'm going to start with one of my vertical or my horizontal pieces, and I'm going to start with the bottom one, and I'm going to line it up with the bottom of my paper. Again, I'm moving my white cardstock just so that I can see that a little bit better. And I'm just going to put it right down there. So I know I want my bottom piece to be right down at the bottom of my card, so I'm just going to go ahead and adhere that. Just like so. And then I am going to take my other pieces, and I'm just going to start lining those up. They should be about 1/8 of an inch apart from each other in order to fit all 5 of your cross pieces on. So that'll go here. And again, I'm just doing a quick test fit to make sure everything's going to line up properly. And the last one, you do want a little bit of room from the top to the next lattice. Okay, so it's going to go about like that. Okay, so now I can start putting my adhesive down and laying my cross pieces down. If you have any questions on this card or any of my other videos, feel free to leave the comments. I do answer those, and You can also leave messages on my Facebook page, and I will answer you there as well. This is a project that we did on our Wednesday Zoom class. Those are free classes, and you can find out all the information on my Facebook page at Melinda's Rubber Room. I do provide all the measurements ahead of time so that you can do the cards with us. And it's a fun way to see how everybody creates different cards, because not everybody has the same supplies. So all the cards turn out a little bit different, and it's just fun to see everybody's different versions of the same layouts. Okay, so there is my completed lattice. Okay, so now I have a piece of designer series paper, and this measures 2 1/8 by 4 1/8, and that's just going to go right on top of that flap. It'll go like that. And then I have another piece of base cardstock. This measures what does this measure? 5 3/8 by 8 1/2, and it's scored at 4 1/4. And then I went ahead and applied my designer series paper on there. That measures 4 inches by 5 1/8. And I'm going to go ahead and glue this on the inside of my card. So this is where I did my other card incorrectly. So you want the fold line to be on the left-hand side of your card, like a normal card would open. So I'm just going to go ahead and adhere that to the inside. We had a pretty rough night last night. My dog kept shaking his head and scratching his ear, and figured something was not quite right. So I had to take him down to the emergency vet, which always takes quite a while. And it did turn out that the little guy has an ear infection, so now he's wearing the cone of shame and not too happy, but at least we got it taken care of. Okay, so that's going to close like that, and this will open like that. And then I have my piece of white cardstock that's going to go on the inside of my card. So yeah, it's going to be a long day today. We're all pretty tired. Okay, so that's going to go in like that. And then I have a couple pieces of designer series paper that was left over from that 6x6 piece that I cut for my card. So I'm just going to lay those on the inside of my card to bring that design back in. So you can do this whole card with one piece of 6x6 paper for your designer series paper, which is nice. Just a reminder, the new mini catalog did go live yesterday. So if there's anything that you wanted to purchase out of that, I would suggest doing it sooner than later. Some items are selling out already. They will be back in stock, but just kind of delays your chance of playing with them. And you can see everything that's available online on my online store at www.melindapierce.stampinup.net. Okay, so there is the completed base of the card. And you can see on my original one, I used the daisy dies to create a focal image. And then I put my greeting up here. So this time I'm actually going to use a circle. This says, "The colder weather brings us together." And this is all from the Magical Meadow stamp set and dies. So the greeting came from there, and then the dies are the fine I call them fine lace dies, but they're really beautiful. They just have a lot of detail to them. They're just really intricate. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and attach these little sprigs first. So I want them to kind of lay like that. Just gonna go ahead and glue those down. I wouldn't normally put Pretty Peacock with Mossy Meadow, but those are actually the colors that are in my designer series paper, so I'm replicating that. And I always find it's kind of fun to look at the colors that are in the designer series paper because they put together colors that you wouldn't normally put together, and you can see how nicely they go. So it kind of gets you out of your normal color schemes. I want to make sure that this isn't hanging off of my card, so I have to keep testing it to make sure it's not, these sprigs aren't too long. Okay, here we go. And then I'm just going to glue that whole thing in the center. And again, I want to make sure that I'm only putting glue on these cross pieces. I'm just going to stick that right in the center. And you can see I put some little embellishments on my circle as well. And there is that completed card. So quick and easy, but yet so fun to make and a little bit different than what other people are used to receiving. I think I'm going to go ahead and glue some of these sprigs down. I'm afraid that when somebody receives the card that the sprigs might get caught in the envelope. Or okay, do a little bit down here as well. You don't want to make sure that that adhesive isn't going through to your card itself, to this inside piece, otherwise it's going to glue itself together. So being careful just to add a little bit and making sure that the back side doesn't have any glue hanging over. Okay, so there is that completed card. You can always put another greeting in here and a greeting in here as well. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to use the card for. You could actually use it for a birthday card with that sentiment on it. So I think I'm going to wait and put that on later. So I hope you enjoyed that quick tutorial. If you have any questions, again, feel free to leave a comment on my YouTube channel or on my Facebook page. I'd be happy to help you out. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.